Let me ask you about Churchill, because he's this crazy figure who played a big role in World War I, and not just World War II. We all know him from World War II, but he was very present during World War I and sort of trying to become the military leader that we would later know him as, not with total success, as you just alluded to. But talk about Churchill during World War I.
He was put into the post of First Lord of the Admiralty in 1911, and he was young then. He was like a 37-year-old guy. And that's the top post in the British Navy, which, for the Brits, the Navy is a bigger deal than the Army. So he was a huge figure in the pre-war military apparatus. And he brought in as his first Sea Lord, Jackie Fisher, who was this legendary admiral. And he was much older. He was more like 70. So these two guys got along with this one old admiral and the young Churchill. And he was very aware of the German threat early on, more so than most. And so he was working very hard to update the military and the technology of the ships. He's sort of a technophile. So he was looking at the weapons.
Because you've told me before, at this point, England had the navies, and that was extremely important for them to have a strong navy. But most of the other powers didn't really have a strong navy. But then Germany was like, we're going to have one. We want one. And Churchill saw it coming.
He did. And that set off this naval arms race. So Britain controlled the seas at that point. Ever since defeating Napoleon in the early 1800s, they were the dominant sea power, and they controlled the sea lanes for merchant shipping and for military purposes as well. And Germany, they were expanding, but they were really a continental power. They had the largest and most powerful army and land-based force. But in order to grow, Kaiser Wilhelm II thought, we need an international system of colonies, an empire in the way that Britain does, so that we can bring natural resources in from the corners of the globe and fuel our industrial growth. But the only way to have an international empire and colonies around the world is to have a strong navy so that we can protect our sea lanes. So he starts building a navy, and then Britain starts getting very nervous about the strength of the German navy, and that set off this big arms race between the two.
Okay, so back to Churchill. So he's there, he's working on building up, preserving the strength of the British Navy, staving off anybody else from getting too strong. And in World War I, he's got this partnership with this older guy, but it doesn't actually work out very well.
Right. So he's got this idea. He by the way, he's done a ton of work to update the military and the naval ships from coal to oil, and he secures access to oil from the Middle East, which was sort of the founding of British Petroleum and things like that. But he has this idea, and this ended up being his downfall. But he had an idea to end the war quickly, because Russia had basically been capped off. They have their only warm water port in the Black Sea. That's how they get wheat and natural resources out, and how they get guns and war supplies in. But in order to get to Black Sea, you have to go through this long strait called the Dardanelles that goes right by Constantinople and Turkey, and it's all controlled by the Ottoman Empire, which is with Germany. So they control access to Russia's warm water port. Churchill has this thought that we can send a big force, not only naval ships, but ground troops as well. And it's not that well protected at the moment. We can storm in there, we can take the strait, and we can open up Russia, and then basically hit Germany right in the belly from beneath and win the war quickly. And they have this whole back and forth. Lord Kitchener is the head of the army, and he's the guy, like in America, it's Uncle Sam wants you. Well, in Great Britain, it was a poster of Lord Kitchener basically doing the same thing, that, we want you in the military. So they're back and forth on how to do this. They end up sort of like splitting the baby, and they send only some naval ships and no ground troops. So when they get there,
what year is this?
This is in 1915.
Okay.
And so the ships go and they're fighting. It's like this ancient strait, that's like where the Persians and the Greeks used to fight. So there's ancient fortifications up there, and there are some Turkish troops there, but they're very poorly supplied. They've mined the strait a little bit, but the British ships are making some progress. And as we found out later, the Turks were almost out of bullets. There were very few troops, almost no ammunition. The English had basically gotten through, but it stalled a little bit. And they thought, well, maybe we better stop. We've just lost a couple battleships to some sea mines. Let's wait and see what goes on, and maybe we'll get another ship up here. So they stall it out. And in that time, more Turks come down, and the Germans think this could be a disaster, and they send troops down there and resupply it. By the time the Brits get some more ships and some land troops in there, now it's on. Like, it's a full-on battle. Both sides are supplied, and the whole thing bogs down, and it turns into this very bloody mess that is prolonged. Lots of people die. It was made into a movie with Mel Gibson sort of portraying what an ugly, grisly disaster it was. And Churchill's blamed for the whole thing. But had they gone in with his initial plan, with ground troops, with more ships, they would have easily taken this. History has sort of gone back to resurrect Churchill's reputation in this disaster, which ended up getting him fired from the Admiralty, and he spent a couple decades sort of out to pasture until he came back to power closer to World War II.
Not to reduce it to, life lessons and a self-help therapy session, but it is a good reminder that you can have a massive failure, like I failed to prevent World War I, and you can still come back. Think about Churchill. I know we both admire him so much, but the opportunities that he had, that he seized, that he tried for, and that he did have some failure achieving, only to never give up,
That's right. If you have the talent, if you have the goods, you can always come back, which he clearly does. And it took him some time, but he rose to the top again.
It's the final days for the Christmas and holiday season sale from Genucel. Everyone, listen up. I love this company, and you will too. From now through Christmas, Genucel's most popular package. I love this. They've idiot-proofed it. They've given you all their best stuff. Everything that people love most. So if you're like, I don't know what to get, I don't know what the products are, just get the most popular package. It's right now 70% off at Genucel.com/MK60. Treat yourself and a loved one to the absolute best skincare in the world. See those troubling forehead lines or the fine lines or the skin redness or the pesky bags and puffiness, and even a sagging jawline disappear right before your eyes with Genucel's most popular collection. With its immediate effects product, you see results in less than 12 hours, guaranteed, or you get your money back. And included in every one of their most popular packages is your free hyaluronic acid serum for skin hydration that's going to restore and rejuvenate. I think it resurfaces your youthful appearance. You will feel a difference after you use this stuff. Visit Genucel.com/MK60 now. Enter my special code MK for an additional 10% off your entire order when you check out. Got the 70, got the 10, got the hyaluronic. Every order today is instantly upgraded to free express shipping, guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Don't wait. Genucel.com/MK60. GENUCEL.com/MK60. This is a very thoughtful gift. Genucel.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.